Welcome, music educators of every level, pre-K, K through 12, professors, people who create resources. If you are involved in music education, thank you for joining me for this video. Thank you for coming to my channel. It has been so long since I have posted anything. So a couple of things that I wanted to share with you today. A lot of you hopefully are preparing for the fall time, you're preparing for music lessons, you're preparing to teach future educators, or maybe you're a company thinking about how you can be more inclusive. How do we, I guess, innovate and recreate music education as we know it? Because that is what this time in education, definitely music education, this time in our lives, in our country, this is what it's called for. It's calling for this. Today I did an interview a little earlier and it brought about something that I really want to mention to everybody here. If you are for the first time embarking on your journey of wanting to become, you could call it more of an anti-racist music educator, if that's what you are naming it, if you are saying you want to decolonize, if you're wanting to be more culturally responsive in your teachings, there's many different things that we could call this, because academia right now kind of tells music education kind of what the tendencies are and what it's kind of like, okay, here's the trend for 2021, here's the trend for 2022. These are buzzwords, and that's really important to know, because these terminologies may change in the next 4 to 5 years if someone comes out with a new book. Whatever you're calling it, thank you for joining me here. I really want to encourage you. Thank you for taking the first step in knowing that something needs to change. Now, very important, if you are just embarking on this journey and maybe you're only 1 to 3 years in, some things you really need to keep at the forefront of your mind. And that is, are you going to be, or have you been, a dabbler, or are you all in? Meaning, do you sometimes kind of say, okay, well, I just need to fix up my library. I'm going to have this composer, that composer, by this culture. Who can I have in my library? Who should I not be? What songs should I not be teaching to my children? And that's where it ends. That would be a dabbler. Now, if you're someone who is all in, you're dedicated, you know that your learning does not stop at reading books, at looking for resources that are currently within the music education framework, because we definitely need more resources. And luckily, I have been working on some resources for you all. But are you a dabbler, meaning part-time? Maybe you went to one workshop in the last year for 3 hours that talked about music from one culture specifically. Or how much time, maybe you went to a couple of trainings, or maybe you went to all the Orff or the Kodai trainings offered by and at your university institutions, or anything like that. That would be a dabbler. Now, if you're all in, someone like myself, again, my name is Michelle McCauley. I'm a member of the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe. I am a cultural person. I grew up that way. And I am nearing my 40th birthday in August, so I've had a lifetime of this. This is where I am drawing the distinction between a dabbler starting your 1 to 3 years versus someone like myself, who we're just born into this, and the way that we've been interacting with cultures and our own cultures our whole life, knowing our music and knowing that this is like second nature. And it's ongoing, it's constant, and it has never stopped. So I want to encourage you, this is, if you have been completely immersive, like you are attending local cultural events, you're going out there and you're talking to the adults in the culture, the adults maybe who are making the music, doing the food, you've created new relationships with people from other cultures. That means that you technically, that's what I would consider somebody who's all in. You build a relationship, not just for a purpose, not just for a song, and then, okay, maybe I'll revisit that later. But you have now put yourself, connected to whatever cultural community in your area, that you will be going in and out of from now on in your life. And not only that, you probably have created some great relationships with the adults and the people in that culture. So you could see kind of where these kids come from or who might they be aspiring to be. That is very important, and that is what I would like to encourage you all to do. Now, I know a lot of people, a lot of educators like to tell me, but I just don't have the time. Well, then I'm going to consider you a dabbler and someone who only kind of looks at things. You'll never have a full grasp on who your kids are supposed to be, because you're kind of just like shutting them out part-time, right? Well, I read that book. I already did that. I already went to the one training, about East Asia music. I'm set. Or I could just go to this forum and people are going to give me the resources to go to, right? So why do I need to? If you're coming up kind of with excuses like that, I would just say that you're not fully immersed on the journey that maybe will benefit your students the best. And you're probably very heavily classically trained, and it's we are trained that way in the universities, as that's pretty much what all the universities are about when they train you to be a music teacher. Heavily westernized, reading music notation, classically trained. How many hours are you practicing on your instrument, your voice, or whatever it is when you became a music educator? So it's understandable that what I'm talking about, being a cultural person, I know my own cultures, I go in and out of that environment, but I also can go into classical music environments, and I can conduct, I can read, I can help teach the kids as well. So how do I know which one to give more time to? Well, who am I becoming as a person? What is it that my culture, the state of it is in, to where I could take it to? And I'm always talking with people with different cultures from around the world. We do have a modern society, but then we have the identities of the countries or the places that other people come from. Building a self-identity of who you are based off of accurate historical information, not false historical information, is really key. So thank you so much for watching my channel. I know it's been a long time, and so I hopefully will be creating more resources, as in courses and more information, to kind of guide you a little bit better through this journey. And believe me, every year I am always learning about a new culture. I love learning new songs. And I don't necessarily teach them all the time, but I just really like connecting with people. And food, music, laughter, all those things is how we connect to people. So I am not a dabbler person. I am somebody who's 100% in all the time. I do have an opening cultural protocol, meaning that when I meet people of other cultures, I do not expect those cultures to have the same values and think exactly like me. Now, this may be a brand new concept for you, but this is key into becoming a culturally relevant educator, and to understanding who it is that you're teaching. You absolutely have to be willing to have conversations with the adults of the children that you teach. If you're in a higher education institution, you're dealing with adults. How much do you know about the state of our country today, about the students who are entering the classrooms today? How much of you as the professor do you know that you can impart to these future music educators so that they can effectively address things in their classroom? Or are you kind of unsure of what repertoire you should be suggesting? Are you suggesting that the future teachers need to be a Kodai or ORF trained? I personally am not Kodai trained or ORF at all. One of the reasons why is because I come from a culture that was way established way before ORF, Kodai, before even music education. So there's a way that many cultures, not just my own, have sustained music for a long time, and instrumental music, not just, a drum or singing. There's plenty of cultures who use instruments. They don't read music, but these songs have lasted for a long time. So we need to be respectful of that. Are you, as a professor, teaching that? Are you encouraging that? And we also have to be respectful of the fact that knowing more about other cultures, you know, we will never know it all, but we can know a huge number of things. But we need to sustain that ongoing. And once you create your life, you make this change in your life, you'll notice that the whole world, almost, communities open up to you. You won't feel such pressure about not culturally appropriating things, because you know who to ask, how to talk to, or you've been in the culture enough times to know what a stereotypical sound of that culture is versus the actual thing. So these are my tips for you right now. If you feel like you would like to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at michelle@therealmichelle.com. I do consultations for music educators. If you are an educator in the K through 12 system, I do have a reasonable price for you to reach out to me if there's something like you just want to talk to me, but I'm very limited on time. So make sure, and I'm in Pacific time zone, so if you send me a request, just let me know what it's for. I'll send you the pricing. And if you are a higher education or a music education company, I have the same thing. So at this current time, my website is under construction, but I would like to offer you all, those of you who are like, man, I want to go deeper, I want to hear more about what you say, go ahead and inbox me. I will let you know how much time I have. I do have a lot of projects going on, so I want to connect with some of you, I want to talk with some of you, and just, you know, overall help you on your journey, no matter where you're starting. And I believe we can all use encouragement, but just to feel connected as a music education community and know that music education is changing, and I am so happy to be part of that change. Again, you can reach me at michelle@therealmichelle.com. I'll try to check my email every day this week. That's my goal. So sa'a panidoa. I will see you later. I hope to see you in my inbox, and thank you for watching my channel.